And welcome to the special show, special edition podcast. This is going to be actually featuring the Robertites. This is Robert Red, and I'm going to be joined by my co-host, my fellow Robertite, Genesis Wolf, Robert Parnell. How you doing today?
Doing all right.
Awesome, possum. Well, I thought while you were here, we don't get to see each other that much live and in person. I'd figure I'd do an interview and we can just kind of talk our life and kind of our stuff. We recently have launched for our listeners a YouTube channel. It's branded Robertites right now. It may change in the future. We are going to be putting up a lot of great content along with this podcast. We have some gameplay that we have done at the time of this recording, some great stuff. So I want to get it started, Parnell. So kind of tell me about your early life. Like, you were born in Pennsylvania, am I correct?
Yeah, Norristown, Pennsylvania. Always been playing games. Lived over in Gratz for a little while. Had a bunch of parades in the streets every other month and everything like that. And moved down to Florida, Texas, before eventually coming down here to Arkansas.
Okay, well, since you mentioned you've moved around a lot, what actually brought you here to Arkansas? Did you have family here, or what was the reasoning for you to come to Arkansas?
Las Familia, bad relations.
Oh, yeah. Gotta love that. So, you mentioned we're both gamers and writers. We'll take each question first. We'll start with kind of the gaming thing. When do you remember start gaming? Have you gamed all your life? Is this a recent occurrence?
Pretty well all my life. Started out on that Super Nintendo when it first came out, going up to levels 80, 90 on Duck Hunt.
Yeah, gotta love that. That was a great game. Well, that was regular Nintendo. That was the one. So
yep.
Yeah. So pretty much you've played games all your life. You mentioned you have a favorite system or anything, or?
It's got to be Xbox, hands down.
Okay, so original Xbox 360 or the latest derivation, the Xbox One?
Oh, I'd have to still go with the Xbox 360. Xbox One still glitches out a little bit. Need to improve a few little things, but it's up and coming.
Yeah, I do agree. I enjoy Xbox 360 a whole lot, just for the simple fact. Just like you, I play games all my life. Do you remember getting your first system? How did you get it? Because I got a lot of my earlier systems. I got my regular NES, I didn't really get a Super Nintendo. My cousin had one. I have one now because I bought one in the last couple of years. But I got a Sega Genesis. My systems have been kind of hand me down. So are you kind of the same? Why you have hand me down systems?
A lot of them were hand me downs, and once I got to working and everything like that, I was able to mostly buy them whenever I had the spare money to do so.
Okay, that's awesome. Because I remember getting the first system I actually bought was my PS2, and that's when I first worked at age 16. Now, we're going to kind of go back. What's your earliest memories of writing and stuff like that? Because I know you're an avid reader. You told me earlier you like to read 2 books a day. So kind of what's your earliest memories of writing and reading and just anything literary?
I didn't even start reading, didn't even like reading up until the 6th grade, and had a teacher, Mr. Yon. He really got me into reading and everything like that, to the point to where I was actually getting in trouble for reading in class when I was supposed to be doing work. And from there, I started writing when I was in junior high school, going to MacArthur. And from there on, it was just history, and then met up with you towards high school.
Yeah, we're going to get to that here in a minute. So, so that's really good. What got you in the reading was really 6th grade and Mr. Yon, because I actually I had him as a teacher as well. So I guess we were.
Yep.
Okay. With that, mentioning writing and stuff like that. We met up, I believe, our senior year, if I'm correct, is really when we really connected and stuff.
Yeah, it was during one of those in school kind of paper.
Yeah, I think we were studying poetry. We had a actual at the time it was our 12th grade, our senior year English teacher, and she was an interim teacher, like a student teacher, and I think that's really what got me in, because for me. I've written poetry off and on for several years, 6th, 7th grade, stuff like that, and I've been writing ever since. And that kind of brought us together and kind of got us writing. Now, with that, I want to kind of bring this around. What kind of is your inspiration for writing? Do you have any inspirations, or what things do you normally like to write about when you do write?
I wouldn't really say I have too much inspiration. It's mostly that I would just all of a sudden wake up like 2, 3 o'clock in the morning with an idea in my head, and I just write it out and finish it up right then and there as far as poetry, and it just never really dawns on me as far as doing anything with it or anything at all like that. And as far as writing any kind of books, I just have the idea that just pops in the head and I put it down on paper.
Yeah, because unlike me, I know you like, I like to stick with poetry. But I know you like to write other types of works and you want to write books and stuff. So, kind of, what was your earliest ideal for a book, and what really made you want to get into like writing books?
I originally came up with an idea as far as science fiction because at the time I was really interested in astronomy and everything like that, and had the idea of creating like a living ship that was able to travel in parallel worlds.
Okay. That's interesting. With that, so I know we talked about meeting up and stuff. Like, what kind of gave us the idea? Because I know the story, but I want our listeners. What came up with the idea of doing like a joint venture book with us?
It seemed like we worked pretty good together on the assignment when we was doing it in high school and everything like that. Now, you was mostly more rounded out, where I paid more attention to the finer details and had a little bit more vernacular as far as using it in actual writing and making it make sense for others that are reading it.
Yeah, I agree. I always felt that you're almost my better half in the sense of I'll write something and you can take kind of the core meat of what I have and you can make it so much better. Like, I remember one poem we co-wrote, and like I'm trying to remember the name of it. Like, I wrote kind of like the structure, but you kind of kept that same structure and you just made it so much more regal, like, and made it sound better. And I think the poem turned out so much better. So I think you're kind of like the yin to my yang when we do the writing. Is you bring out I guess the best in me. Now for like the whole book, for the people who don't know the story, like we've done books before. We did the whole reflections, which we can actually get to here in a minute, and we did the whole we did like a paper version of the book, and then like I worked at the library here where I live in Jonesboro, or Arkansas I should say, and I had a publisher here who was the dean of the library, and he kind of let us do some paper versions. So what kind of got us into doing a more professional version? Like I believe I approached you with this print on demand service Lulu, and you kind of want to take it from there, the story.
Yeah, you mentioned about Lulu to me and everything like that, and made me want to actually put a couple poems on the website and see how well they did, and actually got a few awards for yourself and myself as well.
Yeah, the poetry.com, which, it's a separate site, but yeah, Lulu.
Yeah, it seemed to do pretty well and get actual kind of results, and just made me think of actually wanting to step forward and actually go to the next level to be able to actually see that kind of work in the stores themselves.
Yeah, because I mean, I always wanted to do like a professional looking book, because going back, I had did in the library, and they were paper books. They didn't really, to me, look professional. So when I was presented, Mom brought me an article in our local newspaper wanting to do Lulu. I was like, I thought this was our good chance. Oh, that brought us to get a book published. Now, what brought about the book signing? Because I know back a couple of years ago we did a book signing. So you want to kind of tell our listeners more about the book signing, what brought it about?
I wasn't really too much involved in that when we had the local news station interview and everything like that. Try to put the word out there for the book signing and trying to get the word out there and everything like that. And it just goes from there, and just doing whatever we can to try to catch people's common interest and wanting to try to either purchase our works or have the possibility of even reading it and getting their own opinions from it.
Yeah, I remember getting the ability, or not necessarily the ability, but having the privilege of doing the interview. I really wanted you on, but they didn't have room for you, so I had to take the brunt of that. So
as long as my ugly mug stays off of TV, just be fine.
Well, you do get a cameo in there where they do show your picture in the interview, which I do have it up on. I believe the Brandon Robertites YouTube channel actually has the interview, and if it's not, I'll make sure it's up on there. So, but since we're collectively known for our listeners as the Robertites, do you want to kind of take us back and what? Because I believe you are who came up with the name, so you want to kind of give the thought process on how you came up with the name the Robertites?
I don't know. I was just afraid of too many people not liking the work and everything like that. So the original thought that popped up in my mind was Robertitis, as a sort of disease.
You're joking on that one,
as
right?
a kind of avoidance. No, I'm not joking. That was the actual one that popped up in my mind and everything like that, and then said, no, we don't want to really be known as some kind of cancer that's spreading through the nation if it does become popular. So, well, why not just change it to the Robertites?
Okay, well, I like that. That's quite interesting because I really didn't know the origin of the name because I know what we have like in our book, which is called Reflections.
Yeah, with your reaction, I knew not to really say nothing at the time. I get weird thoughts through this head of mine. That's what kind of makes me a good writer.
Yeah, see, I mean, that makes you interesting. That's why I said you're the perfect yin to my yang. You can kind of balance this out and stuff. So our first book was entitled Reflections. Now, was it you or me who actually came up with the title of it?
I don't rightly remember. It's been a while back, and I've slept since then. But we'll just say that it's both of ours, just for the sake of argument. But I think we was discussing more as far as the terms of you write more as far as religion, kind of inspiring poetry, where I go as far as more romanticism and earthbound kind of literature. Mm-hmm. And we wanted to be able to have people to read those poems and be able to reflect upon it and probably have any kind of similar experiences, and probably from there came up with the Reflections.
Yeah, and that's kind of, I guess that was the thought process of me too, is the whole Reflections, and I really wanted the cover to reflect that, pun intended there, of the inward and outward reflection, a literal reflection of reflecting off a mirror or like a lake or something, but then also the figurative expression of reflection and reflecting internally and thinking and reflecting that way as well. So that was kind of that. Now we're going to kind of move off of the literary stuff and the gaming stuff. You're more a modern gamer, whereas I'm more a retro gamer. Kind of like you have an Xbox One. I really don't have an Xbox One. I'm still rocking the last gen console. So, do you have like a favorite game on the Xbox One that you like playing a lot, or?
Oh, it's got to be the Black Ops series, hands down. I mean, Black Ops has always came out with the good games and everything. I know Treyarch is real good. I mean, I know Sledgehammer Games and Infinity Ward will also conglomerate with them as far as releasing their games, and they'll sometimes actually create a joint one, but I mean, Black Ops is just hands down the best in my personal opinion.
Yeah, I mean, I do like the Call of Duty series. I'm like that and Halo. I think I probably like the Call of Duty series just a little bit better than Halo, just for the simple fact of the frequency. They probably, to me, need to slow down so they can let the franchise last longer. But I like the Call of Duty series too. I'm big in the FPS. Like I used to now in terms of genre, since we're talking that, like we mentioned when we were younger, playing like Duck Hunt and stuff like that. So as we've gotten older, I think our tastes have changed. Like, how have your tastes changed from when you were younger to when you are now in terms of gaming?
Oh, I used to play back when they really was starting to came out with Sega. I was playing mostly sports games and everything like that. And
yeah, I remember playing John Madden in '94 on Sega.
It was way too predictable. And then started out on the original Xbox and was playing the Need for Speeds and all the racing games. Got into that, and a few of the PlayStation got that. Got into the the RPG style and aircraft type dogfighting games. And then just from there, got into the multiplayer, where you have a lot more skill level and you don't have to constantly face the AI, making it easy on you, because AI is predictable at times. They haven't really stacked it up too much. Mm-hmm. But then I got into the first-person shooters, and with that multiplayer, it's really set with me.
Yeah, because, I mean, just for me, it's been very similar. Like, I remember playing original Nintendo and playing, obviously, Mario 3, a lot of platform games, 2D platform games, and just kind of going with that. And then, obviously, Super Mario World, and then Mario Kart. I've been a Nintendo fan for a long time, like Nintendo, Super Nintendo, N64, and, like, obviously, I like GoldenEye on the N64, so I guess that's my early FPS type deal influence there. But I like platformers and sports games like you mentioned on Sega. I mentioned Madden 94. Also, Sonic the Hedgehog. I like playing Sonic the Hedgehog. I still have it for my Xbox 360 and play it. We just actually, spoiler alert, that's going to be one of our challenges. We both played Sonic the Hedgehog 2 for Xbox 360, so you can hopefully catch that gameplay. It's going to be up on the Robertites channel soon. But as I gotten older, obviously my tastes have evolved too, because getting older and gamer, like, I remember playing the original PlayStation, and then, like I said, getting the PlayStation 2, and kind of like my taste changed. Like, I went to Grand Theft Auto, which open world. I'm trying to think. N64, I mentioned having played, because my fondest memory on that is obviously GoldenEye. I've just repurchased an N64 just so I could play GoldenEye again on the N64. I also have Zelda, which I've not played, so I don't know why, but it's considered the great game, so I want to try to play it, and maybe I can capture some footage for our channel. But from there, getting older, like the PS2, playing Grand Theft Auto a lot, and then when the Xbox 360 and the kind of the PS3 era came out, getting into Call of Duty, and obviously with the original Xbox playing Halo, so that kind of got me in the first-person shooters, and then from there I pretty well stuck with first-person shooters, and I've been playing pretty well first-person shooters ever since. And, like, I remember back in the day playing Rock Band, so kind of that along with the first-person shooters. As I know you and me have played Rock Band, and another spoiler, that's going to be another challenge, so you can look out for that. So my chase have kind of changed as well as we've gotten older. But with that, as we've gotten older, I remember we're going to get more on a personal note, like us wanting to get with the ladies and stuff. Hey, we are guys here, so don't hate on us. Okay, feminists, calm down. Don't put your torches away. Hey, we're young, but you want to get with women. And now you're actually recently become a dad in the last couple of years. So how has being a dad kind of changed you from when we were when we were younger? I mean, how's that been?
Well, having a child, I mean, my daughter is 14 months right now and everything, and so she's still got a lot of growing to do, and she got to grow up, be able to play games with her daddy, and be able to pass gas like her daddy. But as far as that, I mean, your priorities will change quite a bit and everything. You'll start thinking about what would be best for her, and you don't go chasing all the ladies around anymore. It's coming from a guy's perspective and everything, because, I mean, you want her to be able to be stabilized. She's the most important female in your life, and all other females besides her will be secondary.
Yeah. So, I mean, and I'm glad that, and that's kind of why I want to do this podcast, kind of like talk and kind of just shoot the breeze with you and kind of tell your story. Is there like any other interesting facts or stuff you want to tell our audience before we close this broadcast out? And I want to thank you for being on here and doing this with me. This has been great, and I've enjoyed having you here today, and just it's been fun. So.
Oh, not too much. I got my own YouTube and Twitch channel, been starting up and trying to get it kicked off and everything like that. And man, if anybody listening to this podcast would like to help out or anything like that, just come to my YouTube and subscribe, like the videos and everything if you like them. You may not like them, but I mean, I think you might like them. Yeah. They're not too bad.
Yeah, and we'll have gameplay on there. Obviously, you'll probably be more heavy of the gameplay right now for our Branded Robertites channel until I can figure out a good way to capture footage and do gameplay. But Twitch for you is I am Genesis Wolf, if I'm correct, right?
Yes, sir, it is.
Okay, and your YouTube channel, I believe, is the same thing, but you have it listed, I think, as Robert Parnell. Your name is the actual channel.
Yes, all you got to do is search under my name, Robert Parnell. It'll be Parnell. And you'll be able to find all videos on there. I am currently at 10 subscribers, and hopefully I'll be getting 100 of them. That's what I'm going for right now. And once I get there, I'll be really starting to try to upgrade my gear and provide some better clips for y'all.
Yeah, and obviously if you guys want to donate, you can email me at robertredjr@aol.com. I'm sure you have an email address. People can contact you if they want to donate to the show.
That is IamGenesisWolf@outlook.com.
Okay, so once again, and probably Facebook, if they want to look you up on Facebook, you have one as well?
I have Facebook as well. It'll still be right under my name, Robert Parnell. Just search for it, and I might or I might not add you. Depends on if I know you and like you.
Yeah. If you're creepy, I don't know if we'll add you or not.
I like the creepy people. I'll add them.
Yeah, I mean, you obviously added me, so... But with that, obviously, I'm facebook.com/MarkWonders85 is mine. Twitter @RobertRed Jr. I gave email address. I do have a Power Pro Wrestling podcast. I'm into wrestling as well. So if you want to support that podcast, you can email me as well. But once again, thank you for doing the sit-down interview with me. I appreciate it. Thank you guys for listening to this one. And we will catch you guys later on the podcast.
See ya.